Hi, Sangha. This is Danya coming with your mental health tip this week. And I was thinking about when I first started coming around to the ashram, and especially when I would go on retreat, Babaji would regularly ask me if I was staying happy. And at the time, I was like, what? Like, what is he talking about? And, I thought I was relatively happy, but, I was on retreat, so it was hard. And I was new, so that was hard. And over this last weekend, particularly with this incredible Sangha retreat, I was really struck by how Babaji is really teaching us as yogis how to stay happy, even in the middle of, whatever's going on in the world, whether it's internal or external. How do we let go? How do we reconnect with that place of bliss inside? How do we stay there? And I do think that it's a little challenging right now for most of the world, yogis included. And so I decided to offer a little project this week. So I'm calling this Project Stay Happy. And you'll need some paper and some markers. You could also turn this into a bigger project if you wanted to make, I don't know, a painting for each section, and I'll get into each section in a minute. But this is coming out of some research that I recently ran across that is actually really current. They did a short study around how people are staying, mentally grounded and happy. It was a positive psychology piece. How are people staying happy through this pandemic and through all of this unrest and all the stuff that's going on? And they found certain things, of course, that people were not doing. So the happy people were not scrolling through social media. They were not isolating. The happy people had several things that they were all doing. One of which had a spiritual practice, which I thought was really cool that made the list. The second was self-care. The third was exercise. The fourth was social interaction, or they're calling it social solidarity, that whether it's by phone or Zoom, or if you're doing some sort of socially distant get together, that having real interaction with a person was really important. So not just texting, not just Facebooking, but like talking to someone. And then the last was engagement, helping other people, seva. So these are things that we as yogis already know and use, but I thought we would play this game. So if you like, you can make a little grid. So what I did is I made a grid and I put several important things. So I put spirituality, seva, exercise, self-care, creativity, and people. And then there were 3 left over, so I just put what makes you happy, and you can fill in those other sections. And the goal isn't to make necessarily a written list of words, but to pause. So with each square, maybe when you see the word seva, pause and visualize yourself feeling happy and doing that work. And just imagine, what would you be doing? Where would you be? Would there be other people there with you? And get really specific in kind of the visualization. So in order to make something happen, it's helpful if we can imagine it. So begin to imagine it and really let an image come. And then bring that image onto your paper or onto your canvas if you're going for it, whatever you're using. Bring that image onto your little poster. And when we use images, we can really connect with them in a way that we can't connect so much when we see words. So if I see my own personal self, if I see a list of all the stuff I should do, I'm like, yeah, I should really do that. That's a good idea. But it doesn't land the way that an image does. And we all know how this works when we look at a deity. You can see something and take it into yourself in a different way. So when you make this, you want to bring some of that feeling of the visualization into the image, even if it's a stick figure, like this one, right? That I imagine myself joyfully dancing. And so there's my sort of whatever. It's not a wonderful, joyful dancer, but I know what that means. And I know what it feels like when I visualize myself dancing joyfully. I know what it means when I visualize Babaji when I think about my spirituality. So you can use this and then just play with it and then put it up where you can see it. And let it be a reminder, even when you just look at your little stick, if you have you might have more of a stick figure, but if you look at your stick figure of, your dancing happy self, it'll trigger something that lets off a cascade of, biochemicals in the body and allows you to touch a little bit of that happiness. And then maybe there's that oomph to go do it. So I hope that's helpful. I would love to see if people actually do this. So good luck with